Hello everybody. Well, what if I told you that Essendon could have a game-changing full forward on their hands that most of the competition doesn't know about? And I'm not talking about Nate Caddy. I'm talking about Archer May. Well, it's that time of the year again when everybody is at their most optimistic. Everybody's feeling good about themselves. We're going to win the next 5 premierships. We've got 5 All-Australian draftees who are going to be tearing it up next year, only for all that, as usual, to get torn apart in about round 5 or 6 next year. But we'll take the optimism for what it is at the moment because we're all feeling pretty good about ourselves. We're pretty happy with the draft. And look, I'm pretty happy with it as well, but we'll see how all that goes. But today, I'm going to talk about Archer May. I'm going through all the players on Essendon's list. It looks like there is going to be 43. It turns out, not more, not less at the moment, notwithstanding what happens to Nick Martin. And Archer May is a really, really important player for us. He's one of that sextet of players that... sextet, is that the right word? I think it is. That can play at full forward. So we've got May, McMahon, Langford, Edwards, Caddy and Wright. All of them. And let's face it, they're all not going to play at full forward. And of these players, I think May is probably, along with Caddy, the best athlete of those. If you look at him coming back over the last couple of days in pre-season, he looks amazing. Like he's just an amazing physical specimen. He's incredibly athletic, very powerful, and he really just could be anything. Mature age, kind of as well. Not mature, but he's 21. He's not 18. So he's had a couple of pre-seasons, even at lower levels, to get his body right. He's 198 centimeters, 95 kilograms, and he's got a lot of potential. He comes out of contract in 2026, as do a lot of players. I've been talking about this quite a bit. We've got 18 players coming out of contract next year. I think he's kind of a priority to sign up just because of his potential, if nothing else. He also seems like he's a bit of an alpha as well, like just the kind of player that you'd want playing for you. I think Collingwood was disappointed to miss out on him. He was a Collingwood supporter, and they really, really wanted to get him, and I think he would have been a good get for them down there, and it's really, really good to get him playing for us. Now, last year he played the 7 games. He had a little bit of an injury at the end of the year, but apart from that, he was relatively injury-free, just barring the last little bit. He was rated as our 24th best player officially, just from the 7 games. He averaged 8.9 disposals per game, 3.3 marks, and he chipped in for the 7 goals, which is an average of a goal a game. But he showed his potential. One of those games, I think it might have been the Gold Coast game. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but he kicked those 3 goals really quickly in the third quarter, and including a big kick from outside 50 as well. So he's a good kick. He hasn't got any sort of obvious, what I would say is technical weaknesses to his game. He's a good mark, even though we haven't really seen him, explode for pack marks yet. I think just his physical size and potential, and obviously with Dermy being a bit of a mentor for him, I think that's going to turn out to be a strength of his game. His kicking looks pretty good. So I think there's no sort of technical deficiencies with his game. The only thing I think he's probably just got to work on, like any other player, he probably hasn't got elite endurance yet, which will probably come. I mean, I guess his position doesn't really need that, but all players do need that a bit. Even you see Nate Caddy sometimes finds his way in the back line, taking the odd mark here and there. You do need to have a bit of endurance. He probably hasn't shown he's got that yet. He's probably less dynamic in open play as well. You don't necessarily see him, on the chain of a handball or anything like that. And, he's kind of typecast as a one position player just at the moment. And there's probably he's probably just got less polish to his game at the moment compared to some other players who were taken 3 years earlier in the draft. He wasn't. He's 21. There are some other players that have been in the AFL system for 3 years and have had that AFL development. He hasn't had that AFL development. He was at Richmond initially. He went to Western Australia to ply his trade over there. So he hasn't quite got that polish to his game that some of the other, players of his age group now who've been in the system for a couple of years. But I'm really happy to have him on the list. I think he's still pretty young, but he's almost at the age where he could start to really show something. 21, he'll be 22 next year. And I actually do see him in the senior side, not necessarily every week, but I see him, I think we can probably have 3 of those talls in the side at any one time. Let's say one of those 6 players, let's say one's injured, right? With Essendon, it's probably likely, but it's also realistic. Let's say one is, for whatever reason, is not available. You've got 5 left. Of the other 5, I think he probably should be one of them. So just to put it into perspective again, if you missed him, you've got May, McMahon, Langford, Edwards, Wright, and Caddy. So I think 3 of them probably play in the senior side. I guess Wright could play as a ruckman in theory and not be in the forward line, but I think 3 of them, and I think May, deserves to be one of those players. I think his development is actually best served just because his physical development is getting to the point where he's almost kind of complete. Like he's fully grown now at 21, turning 22 years of age. He's not an 18-year-old. People forget he's older than Caddy. Remember, he's actually older than Caddy. So I think he's going to be an important part of our forward line, and I can see him being a really, really important player, and I can see him being a player that other clubs wish they could have drafted. That's not to say he's a certainty to be in the senior side or anything like that, but I think he'll spend more time in the seniors than not. I see him as an AFL player. I'd like to know what you guys think. Do you think he is AFL ready? Obviously, last year he played AFL because we had so many injuries. Do you think he's worthwhile to be in the team, on merit, maybe as 3 of those 6 players, to be in the, and I'm making an assumption that 3 of those 6 would be in the team. I'm not the coach, right? But I think that's a logical assumption to make, that I think about 3 of those will probably be playing senior football. So what are the questions that I've got for Archer May this year? Well, the first one is obvious. Can he hold down a senior berth? Played the 7 games last year. Played, I think, 1 game. Might have been 1 game in the reserves, or it could have been 2, but he didn't play very many, and showed enough that I think he probably can. But can he hold down a senior berth if we have a reasonable run with injuries? Because there will be a lot of selection pressure, I think, on Essendon this year, because we do have a lot of depth now. We have an insane amount of depth. We might not have a whole lot of top-end quality yet as young players develop, but we do have a lot of depth with most of the players on the list having played senior football. So can he hold down a senior berth? Is he going to be typecast as a forward, or can he actually play elsewhere? Can he play in the back line? All right, I don't think I'd play him there, but can he fill in there? Or is he going to be typecast as that one position player? I think he needs to work, as I mentioned, on his endurance and that sort of thing, just to give him an extra dimension to his game. And lastly, can he get a contract extension? He is one of many that comes out of contract at the end of 2026. And I think he will, but it's on him. And if he gets a contract extension, he should be able to extend his AFL career for at least another couple of years. So what do you guys think of Archer May? Are you as optimistic about him as I am? I really rate this player, and I think he could be a very, very key plank in Essendon's future going forward. Well, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great day, everybody. And as always, go Bombers. Always strive for